Hey guys, Brian with VetteSource back on day 2 of our disassembly of the front bumper components on this 1991 Corvette Salvage parts car that we picked up recently. If this is the first time for you tuning in, if you look above my head, or at the top of the video I should say, you'll see the link to the video description. I did walk around to this car when I first acquired it a few weeks ago. And then if you'll look again, and you haven't seen the other video I did detailing the removal of this front assembly from the car, I've got a link at the top of the video of that should pop up there in just a second, so you can see the first part of this video where I took this front assembly off from the car. So today what I'm going to do is, we got the whole sub-assembly off in one big piece with inner fender wells attached, cornering side markers on, impact bars still in it, everything's still attached in it. What we're going to do today is I'm going to go ahead and dismantle this thing down to the components that my customer's looking for. Essentially what we're going to do is start around our edges here, work around our bolts, go across here, top, back over to the other side, and then we get a few retainers down here. Good thing about this is a fairly low stress operation. Basically a 7, an 8, and a T30 bit will take care of most of this. Get these parts, components off of here and disassembled. It's not as complex as it looks once you get down into it. But this is why I did mention yesterday in the video that I did, is that a lot of the guys, old timers especially, that had worked in the shops in the 60s and 70s, when the new Corvettes came out in the 84, the C4s, they frankly just got tired or didn't want to mess with them, because even though they're very well built, they're built like a tank, they really had a hard time getting over the fact there were so many fasteners putting these things together, even just sub-assemblies. So if you look at this, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, almost 20 bolts just to hold the top end of the retainers into the top of the bumper assembly. So it is rather challenging as far as keeping track of all the nuts and bolts, especially if you're a body and paint guy and trying to get everything back together. This can be pretty time consuming. It can eat into the billable hours that you're looking to work to get product moved out the door, especially for insurance claims. So give me a second to get set up, and we will start playing with this in a second, and I'll walk through what I've got to disassemble to get all these components out, and you guys can hang out with me and see what I'm doing here. I'll be back in just a second. Alright, I am back and set up, ready to go. So let me grab our tools here. What we're going to do is start on our left side, work our way up, and see how far we get here. So like I said, these are going to be T30s right here. They come out of there. These will start to release this inner fender well from this piece. Get those so I don't lose them. And we're going to remove those supports from there. And of course, came out. So we've got that support out, ready to go. We're going to go ahead and work on our other side here. Okay, got the other support on the other side out. Alright, we're going to switch over to our 7mm so that we can get to the smaller bolts on top. Make sure we don't lose those, because all the hardware is quite important to hold on to. And then we'll work these right here. Okay, got these out. And let's see, where am I at? Oh yeah. We need to go ahead and get our cornering lamps out. Sometimes those need a little bit of manipulation to get those out of that corner. And the reason being for taking these out is that you don't, there's an increased likelihood of damaging those if you leave them in the bumper while you're moving it around, so you don't want to get any cracks in those while you're doing that. And then what we'll do is we're going to move around to the top part here. We're going to take out the main retainer. Oops, too big. Okay. Of course, that one doesn't want to come out. So we'll work on that one. And that one doesn't either. And therein lies some of the problems that the body shop guys don't like, is because some of them have to have a little bit more persuasion to get to be forced out of the assembly, especially when they've been sitting for a while. So that's when your special tools will take over. And there we go, we got that one out. So basically that comes out through the side. If I can get enough room there. I'm gonna have to work on that one. I'll probably have to work on this one too. Okay, well, we'll work on that one. So let me get my special tool here real quick, guys, so I get these last screws out. Oh, actually, I'm gonna go ahead and before I go, I'll get these out of here. Okay, and then our bumper assembly is coming along, and that's to our inner impact bar that'll come out there. So we'll get that in a second. There's our shims that I was telling you about yesterday. All right, so let me grab another special tool, guys, and I'll be right back to finish this job up. Hang on. All right, back again after our short delay. And as you know, they always say in the mechanic side of the business is that last bolt sometimes it can be a killer. So after a little bit of persuasion with our rust penetrating blaster and our lovely Burns-O-Matic tool and a nice little small piece of or our smaller vice grips, we should be able to get, oh yeah, there we go, that to turn. That's it. So sometimes, again, we're working on 30-year-old cars here, guys, and that's just the nature of the beast. You got to be prepared. My last ditch effort was to go ahead and use the cutting wheel or the drill to go ahead and just drill that one out, but I was hoping to get that piece out of there so that the retaining nut plate would stay intact on it. So got this coming out slowly. I'm gonna go slow so it does not bind up on me again, and that's working pretty well. Now, I will say this about the newer cars I've mentioned with the disposable fasteners is that yes, they come out quite quickly, but they're one-time use fasteners. They don't go back in there again. So if you've ever had to deal with one before, you know what I'm talking about. So what happens now, we've got this off, we've got our side panels off. What happens here is we lift across and lift over, and that whole front bumper assembly comes loose from that impact bar retainer in there. So what we're gonna see what I'm doing now, see if I can do this one-handed here. And maybe not, but we'll check. Let's see. See if I can get this other side over. There we go. All right, so the impact bar assembly is out now. This here, and that gives us access to our fog lights. And yes, amazingly enough, the fog lights have to be taken out once this impact bar is released. That's kind of a pain in the butt. But you can't get to the fog lights without taking the front end apart of the car. So you can see here, this is what the bumper cover looks like with years and years of road debris and animals living in there. Like I said, the car sat for quite a while. These are some insert plates to keep things blacked out. And then what we'll do real quick, let me get this flipped over so that I can finish getting these inner fender wells out, and I'll show you what our finished bumper cover all by itself looks like. I'll be right back, guys. Okay, we're back with our final part of our tear down here. We're going to get our Torx bolts out from underneath here. Remove these so we can get this rotten retainer off of here. And this actually came loose for me. That one's still on. Okay, retainers are off. These will be throwaway items, obviously. It's a little bit rotten. And we need to break out our 7mm one last time so we can get to this. Sorry about that, guys. And we take these off. And we take these off. And there you go. So remember, if you're taking one apart, there's a combination of those 7mm and the other, and the Torx heads on that bottom there, T30s. So there's one that's good, and this one, this inner fender, is, I'm gonna say, was that the one that was no good? Yeah, no good, broken right there. So, and another aside, just to show you how difficult the fog light assemblies are to get out of there. This is actually an access panel, you can see right here. Okay, let's get finished up today after a few minor technical difficulties, including a dead phone and bolts that don't want to go anywhere. We're going to finish up with this last few items that need to come off of here. Namely, we're going to take this front skid plate off of here, and you can see there, as I was talking before my phone cut off, that's where you access those fog light lamps to get those, to change those out when you need to. But the last few bolts here, just some 10mm that we're going to go ahead and take out. So let me grab our tool here real quick, get to that. This is pretty easy work here. These are just coarse thread 10mm on all 4 of those, so they don't take a lot to come out, and they'll fall right out of there when you're ready for them to go. And we're going to flip this thing over so we can get to this back side. And you can see here we've got a couple 7mm bolts in there. So we're going to get to those. Get our tools swapped out here. Put this up, get the phone over here so you can see what I'm doing. And what you can do is you pull these out right here. Oops. Happen. We'll get this on the other side so you can see what I'm doing here. And what that does, it releases this clip on the side. There's a pressure clip on the side of this fog lamp. So what that does is takes that out so that you can get to this side of the fog lamps and pull up and out after I get this piece off here. Got one more piece we've got to get out of here, which is the tension plate on this side. Those bolts are a little bit in there. So you get those out of their way. Those I've got out already. Those are pretty far down inside there. So what will happen here is we'll push in and over, and of course, because I'm on camera, this isn't going to cooperate with me. So give me 5 seconds to get my way through the weeds here, guys. I'm going to be right back. Hang on. Alright, in an effort to make the end of this job easier for me, I'm going to go ahead and take off our egg crate rebar inside of here. This is all held in with 10mm coarse thread. So we're going to get that out of here. Once we get that out of the way, I'll show you the plates that need to come off here. There's another one right there. And 2 more on the end. Okay, so this will come off. This is that 5 mile per hour bumper we talk about. And these are the plates that come out of here And if you look here real quickly, you'll see that those are actually pressure fit inside of there, okay? So what we're trying to do now, there we go, is get that tab out without breaking it. So the tab fits in that corner there. And there are retaining tabs there, so I'll get those out in just a second. But that's basically it, guys. That's the entire front bumper assembly pulled down. You can kind of see that Corvette part over there, if I'm not mistaken, a lot. Corvette, so there's the part number of your impact bar assembly. Corvette written all over everything. So it's kind of neat for the Corvette guys that like to see some of the original parts. This piece itself, the impact bar, is made out of fiberglass. You can see that heavy, like a cloth. They use the same kind of fiberglass cloth that they do in the construction of boats because it's a heavier, dutier fiberglass material. You can see kind of the strands right there on it. But yeah, that's gonna wrap it up for today's video. I'm gonna cut it loose before my phone goes dead on me again, guys. I want to thank everybody for checking in, watching me dismantle this 1991 Corvette. Tomorrow I'm going to focus on first, I'm going to grab this radiator cooling system out of the car for a customer. And then at the end of the day, if I've got time, we'll go ahead and take this rear bumper assembly off the car, which this is quite a bit different than taking the front one off. So I'll see if I can fit it in the schedule. If not, we'll do that next day. But if you stuck around to the end, I appreciate you sticking around to watch. Make sure you add your comment or like or subscribe if you wanted to see more of the stuff I'd like to show you. And we'll go from there. Catch you guys later. Thanks.